the internet! Terrifying new indicator that America is heading for a recession. Let's get into it. This comes from the Daily Mail. I'm interested. I want to know, what are the indicators that America is heading for a recession? Let's see what we got here. We got an article here from the Daily Mail. Terrifying new indicator that America is heading for a recession. The probability of the U.S. entering a recession within the next 12 months has climbed to 43%, according to a new survey from Deutsche Bank. The figure comes from the average view of 400 people who were surveyed earlier this month and reflects a growing sense of unease amongst investors, economists, and business leaders. While key economic indicators such as low unemployment and stable consumer spending suggest that the U.S. economy remains resilient, consumer sentiment data now suggests expectations are rising for a potential downturn. Interesting. 43% sounds accurate. 43%, of course, is a small survey of a few 400 people. Within the next 12 months, the probability of us going into full-blown recession climbed 43%. A lot of these numbers, a lot of these things you got to take with a grain of salt, folks. Again, this is just a small variety of people that were questioned. A lot of the times you got to be mindful of the fear mongering and the things that are supposed to put you more at ease. I think I did a clip or put out a clip earlier today speaking on exactly that, man. Making sure that we're giving the proper things our attention and not giving the distractions our attention. Very interesting. Let's keep reading. Let me see. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell last week attempted to calm the nation with talk of resilience and stability, saying the economy remains strong overall, citing significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. But the facts tell a more complicated story. The Federal Reserve has revised its 2025 economic growth estimate downward to an annualized 1.7%, the slowest pace outside of the COVID-19 recession since 2011. Interesting. Such a bleak projection could be a red flag indicator that a recession looms. The Fed also raised its core inflation forecast to 2.8%, well above its 2% target following last week's two-day policy meeting. Interesting. What are some recession indicators for me? Yeah, it's these prices of eggs and the lack thereof of eggs that I've been seeing as of late. It's what are gas prices? To be completely honest, I don't even know what gas prices are nowadays. You just gotta just accept it. What are you gonna do? Not get gas? So gas prices, I don't really pay attention when I go to the pump. I might glance. It's like, okay, cool, but you're gonna need that gas regardless of what it is, right? But I'm assuming gas prices are still high. Grocery prices are still high. Of course, I'm feeling the effects of that. Just had a conversation. I was telling my sister, man, I don't think I ever stepped into, as a single man, I don't think I've stepped into the grocery store and spent less than $120. Anytime I walk into the grocery store, mind you, I go to the grocery store once a week, once every other week, maybe 2 weeks max, maybe, depending on how much I do the day before or the time before. I don't think I've ever walked in a grocery store. I don't know the last time I walked to the grocery store, went into the grocery store and spent less than $120. At least I'm spending at least $120. I think the most I usually spend, when I and that's just I'll consider that a light grocery. That's like a light to medium sized grocery. And I'm a single man, let alone the people who have families and more mouths to feed, this, that, and the other. So it's just that tells me a recession's here, because since about 2020, I don't know the last time that prices have been normal, quote unquote normal, right? Things always seem to be expensive. People, of course, are budgeting and cutting costs as well, too. I think another sign of a recession is when you start going through your finances and cutting out the things that no longer serve you, i.e. all these subscriptions and Amazon Prime. As a matter of fact, I just reminded myself, I need to get rid of Prime. I'm not using it. HBO Max almost went away as well, too. There's a few subscriptions. I'm sure there's a few of us right now that have subscriptions that are just taxing us every single month, and we don't really use it. Cut back, man. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you might look at it as a little $18 or $12 or how much your subscriptions cost, but that adds up, man. You got to be moving strategically out here when it comes to finances. Folks, I'm seeing stock market crashes. I'm seeing more and more layoffs. Those are all signs of recession as well, too. Layoffs are still very prominent. Companies that used to boast large staff numbers and great numbers. I'm hearing even companies within the tech space. Of course, I've been hearing companies that are doing just fine, but they're still letting people go. They're not hurting for bread. They're not hurting. They're meeting all their sales quotas. Maybe even some companies are exceeding their sales quota, and they're still letting people go. So all those are signs of a recession, folks, in my personal opinion. But again, take all of this with a grain of salt. You don't want to stress yourself out too much. Of course, again, there is such thing as fear mongering. There are such things that are supposed to, make us put us, unease, I guess you could say. And we need to do a better job of finding the things that do put us at ease, I guess is basically what I'm saying, man. But America is I would say is already in a recession. Again, I'm not an economist, but I think America is already in a recession. Move accordingly, folks. Move accordingly.